Let's cross to Chris Richardson now, who's going to join us by phone, because we're trying to do things by Skype these days partly because of the pandemic response. Sometimes that doesn't work out for us. So we've got Chris Richardson on the phone now. He, as you know, is partner at Deloitte Access Economics. And Chris, I was really keen to get your thoughts first up on the government being forced to put the budget back to October. That is a big move, but I would have thought in these circumstances completely understandable and wise.
Look, it is completely understandable and wise. A whole bunch of things are having to be done differently. This is a global problem all over the world. We're rising to the challenge. Governments are doing a bunch of things differently. We're hearing more today about what's happening. Yesterday we got the Reserve Bank. We know state governments are doing things. Banks are being involved, doing things for small business, keeping jobs going. Across three pillars, basically, you're seeing a number of things that are aiming to protect our health, protect our jobs, and protect people and prosperity more widely.
Yeah, now, Chris, I think what the banks have done here is suggesting there'll be a holiday on repayments for 6 months for small businesses that get into trouble. I think that's probably the biggest economic step we've seen, even the sort of dwarfing what we've seen from government. So hopefully that will be very helpful for a lot of businesses. But as you might have heard me say earlier, we've seen already businesses forced into temporary closure, at least casual staff lose their jobs. Have you got any sense of just how many Australians could have lost their jobs already?
No, at the moment we're just in anecdote territory. Estimates, though, and it's hard because it's not entirely clear how big the problem gets, but our estimates are essentially that we would lose about 180,000 jobs between here and August. Put that in perspective. Basically that says out of every 100 Australian workers, our best estimates, as uncertain as it is, our best estimates are that 98.5 of them will still be in jobs, through the worst of this crisis. It's similar to the job losses we had in the global financial crisis. And Australia had a good global financial crisis, but it is tough and it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt particular industries, particular regions, and most notably small business and those who work for small business.
Chris, we're expecting to hear perhaps over the weekend exactly what the next economic response from the government's going to be. We're looking at companies like Qantas and Virgin. Basically, their business model has just shut down for the moment. They've just got to try and survive. What do you expect are going to be the most important ingredients from Josh Frydenberg and Scott Morrison with this new package to not stimulate the economy, I think just try and keep it alive through the pandemic shutdown?
Yeah, and look, it's going to be sticky tape and string, and that's okay. Extremely important. Amid the crisis, I think a bunch of people are rising to it. You're seeing it not just in government, you're seeing outside as well. You're going to get measures specifically involved, or aimed at small to medium-sized enterprises. You'll have stuff around tenant protection and the like. Having said that, there's a limit as to, given the size of the crisis, there's just a limit to how much governments can do, even if they're perfect. Even if you can get everybody else pitching in, the banks, the whoever else. Having said that, there is a lot of things supporting the Australian economy. You're seeing it state and federal governments. You're seeing Reserve Bank. As you note, the banks, commercial banks are coming into this operation as well. Lower petrol prices, the lower Australian dollar. It's not going to be enough to stop unemployment going up. But it's big and it's fast and it involves a lot of lateral thinking, and that's good.
Chris, thanks for talking to us again.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris Richardson, their partner at Deloitte Access Economics.